Hi guys, today we are going to learn top 10 web application vulnerability in 2025 provided by OWASP. Myself, Dr. S. Nitya Kalyani, Professor in Sri Shanmuga College of Engineering, Salem. In today's digital world, many applications are vulnerable to various attacks such as SQL injections, cross-site scripting, broken authentication, sensitive data exposure, and still many of the organization is struggling to develop the secure web application due to the lack of awareness about the threats and vulnerabilities and secure features. What are the features that need to protect or give displayed or given more importance for developing on what are the vulnerabilities that can be handled, what are the vulnerabilities they need to address. All these things are very lag in software developer. So the software developer need to know all these vulnerabilities before developing any web applications, since all of daily activities are making use of any of our web applications. To address these challenges, Worldwide Application Security Project (WAPAC) is a cybersecurity organization which is a non-profit organization that focuses on improving the software and web application security. It provides tools, standards, and security guidelines. So WebApps also educates the designer and the developer and business owner on the various risks commonly associated with the applications. So next comes the flow of cyber attacks and its business impact. The first one is a threat agent, second one is a attack vector, third one security weakness, fourth one security control, fifth one technical impact, sixth one business impacts. This flow represents how the cyber threat moves from an attacker in by attacking the system that leads to the business impacts. So first one is a threat agent. So threat agent is a people or a group of people. We are commonly call it as an attacker or the hacker or the cyber criminals, or sometimes he may be the insider attack. Their main goal is to exploit the weakness in the system. So the threat agent's main goal is to find the weakness or the vulnerability present in our system. Next one is an attack vector. So threat agent uses the method of attack for attacking our systems. So the methods like phishing, email, and SQL injection, malware, password attacks, these are the types of attacks or the methods of attack that the threat agents try to inject into our web application to find out the vulnerabilities. Next one is a security weakness. So security weakness are nothing but vulnerabilities that is present in our systems. For example, the weak password, unpatched software, which means which means new softwares are not updated, poor coding practices. These allows the attacker to exploit the weakness in our systems. Next one is the security controls. So security controls here represents for each and every user there may be the possibility or the privileges may be given. What are the things they, what are the web pages or the what are the things they can and try to access. For example, the database must be accessed only by the database administrator, and the user has to access only the user login pages, and they can make use of the queries to get the response from the server. So these are some of the privileges that are given to the each and every users. So the security controls are nothing but providing the privileges as well as providing the some of the security measures like the firewall, multi-factor authentication, encryption. IDS, intruder detection system, IPS, DMZ, all these are the security controls that we need to implement in our organization to protect our systems. Next one is a technical impact. Due to this failure in the control access, that leads to the technical impact. You may see the red lines that comes the attacker trying the threat agents trying to use the method of attack. Then he finds a weakness and he attempts to control our functions. So here functions report to here the functions report to the login system, online payment, attendance system, or email sendings, or website operations. All these are the some of the activities that is present in the functions or some of the services provided by our systems. So we try to access our systems. So next one is asset. Asset here is a software or hardware or the people or the organization or the physical structure. All these are called as an asset. They may, once it is compromised, once the security control is compromised, they try to access our assets, okay, through our functionalities. So what is the lead or what is the need of attacking our assets? The mainly to gain access or to access to gain money, mainly to get money, or to damage our reputations or organization reputations, or to make the financial laws or legal penalties, or customer trust issues, to make some other customer trust issues. So we should be very careful in developing our web application security, because once the web application security is vulnerable, then there is the possibility of exploiting the attack through the vulnerability to make our organization risk. Is it clear? Next. So these are the explanation for the threat agents, attack vectors, security weakness, and security controls, technical impacts, business impacts. Next one is a OWASP top 10 security vulnerability or the risks: the broken access control, access misconfiguration, software supply chain failure, cryptographic failure, injection, insecure design. Seventh one is an authentication failure. Eighth one is a software data integrity failure. Ninth one, security login and alerting failure. And 10th one is a mishandling of extension. First one is a broken access control. So these top 10 risks are based on the new release in 2025. First one is a broken access control, which means here the users are trying to access or the data that are not intended to them, or trying to access other users' data. For example, the students has given the privileges to access their own result using their register number in the URL student.profile.101, and they are trying to change the trying to change the URL, the profile -102, and trying to access the other users record without their own permission. Then it is called as a broken access control. Next one is a security misconfiguration. So improper secure setting in server applications or the database is called as a security misconfiguration. For example, administrator panel, where the database, the administrator, where you can give the username and the password as admin and admin123. It is a default password, so the attacker can guess it easily, and or he may use the brute force attack to gain the access of a username and password and find the vulnerability. Once he finds the vulnerability, then he may try to access our data or the applications. Next one is a software supply chain failure. It happens when insecure third-party software or libraries are used in an applications. For example, a company uses an outdated JavaScript library with a known vulnerability. So if the company is using the outdated JavaScript, then it is lead to a vulnerability, because the user may get into it using this vulnerability, injected their malware in this, and once or while we are downloading this app and installing on it, through which our system is get corrupted, or he may access our username and password. So downloading the software from the untrusted sources are also an example for the software supply chain failure. The attacker exploits a vulnerable dependency to attack the application. So the most common example for this supply chain failure is a SolarWinds cyber attack. It is one of the biggest attack that happens just because of outdated software, that is a SolarWinds orient software. So the attacker is tried to inject it on this software, and they exploited their systems. So we should be very clear in updating our softwares. Whenever this companies are providing, we need to keep on updating our systems to protect from the cyber attacks. Next one is a cryptographic failure. So cryptography here mainly for the confidential data. Whenever we are transmitting the confidential data, we should use the encryption mechanism for converting the plain text into ciphertext or unreadable form for transmitting the data. For example, if the database is leaked, the attacker can read all the passwords directly because the password is a plain text. Next one is a injection attack, that is SQL injection attack. So which means a malicious code or the common code are inserted into application through the user input field. Here they are directly inserted in the user field. For example, a user enters a data into login form, search box or URL. The application does not properly validate. If a particular application does not validate the proper user, then the attacker injects a malicious commands or the queries. If the malicious attack, if the particular application is which is protected or authenticated for the password, username and password, then our system is fine. If our application is not protected properly or validated our inputs properly, then it is a vulnerability for an attacker to inject their malicious codes. For example, see here, select start from where the username is admin and password is 123. It is a normal query, but the attacker tried to use this query and modify the query as selected start from user where username is 8 double quotes nothing or 181, which is true. So attacker bypasses the authentication and access the systems. So it is very crucial, and we need to be very clear that whenever we are entering into a new system or in new sessions, each and every time we need to be validated. So that should mean that so this can be protected by using the session timeout. This can be protected by using the session timeout. The attacker bypasses the login and access the database, financial loss, and the database is compromised. These are the impacts of your SQL injection. Next one is the insecure design, which means while developing the applications itself, we are not considering about the security concerns. For example, you are going to give the username and password, and we can able to try for a number of times. Then it leads the brute force attack by the attacker. They use the attack called or the method called brute force attack to find out the username and password. For that only, nowadays we are using the bank account only 3 times. If we use more than 3 times, our account is blocked, right? That is the case where we can able to protect or limit the usage of the user. So attacker can perform brute force attack easily. Next one is an authentication failure. So authentication failure happens when the system does not properly verify the identity of the user during the login. For example, guess password. The attacker can guess the password, steal the account, or bypasses the login security. This happens when the application has a weak login security. The password or the sessions are not protected properly. The attacker can steal the credentials by using the brute force attack. Next one is a software at a data integrity failure. This vulnerability occurs when software updates or the plugins or the data or critical files are trusted without verifications, which means we trust everything without validation or verification. See, an app is installed, update without checking the digital signatures. For simple examples, the software updates third party. Whenever we are implement third party library, we need to see whether it is from the recognized authority or third party libraries and data received. Some of the companies application updates automatically without no digital data verification or no checksum is implemented during the login session. That leads to the data integrity failure. Next one is a security logging on alert failure. Security events are not properly logged, monitored or reviewed or altered by the administrator. Because of this, attack can happen without any notifications. For example, multiple failed login attempts are not recorded or alerted. Okay, that means the system should record the login activity whenever the particular person is logging, or when that particular person is logging from the different devices, or the same person is logging in different time and different ways. So each and every time we have to maintain the login whenever there is a misleading of insertion, or then we need to immediately alert to the administrator that he is trying to attempt these many times without the proper passwords, or he is trying to access the particular site from the different places. So if these are missing, the attacker are continually attack silently. Next one is the mishandling of exception conditions. Misleading error occur when application shows incorrect error message, confusing system response, too many technical information and hidden actual problems. So mishandling of exception, when we are trying to access a particular web pages, for example, a username and password, are you using the username and password, we are trying to log in. If the particular system says your query is like such and such, and the name is admin and the database connected to the server is like 192.168.1.5, where as a user we may not know what it is, but as a hacker they know what it is, because the database here is an admin and the username here they are using is admin and the server is 192.1. So making use of these information, he can try to attack our or find out our sensitive information, or he may get access on our websites or organizations through this type of error handling mechanisms. So it is advisable to show only the your username and password is invalid. Okay, or sometimes which is more helpful for the user to retry your password. Okay, this is called as a mishandling of your exception conditions. These are, thank you.